FX Ancient, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. And right now we are looking at pound USD. Basically, I'm going to go over some trades that I took on Wednesday during London session. So first we're looking at pound USD. Hopefully by me going through the trade setups that I took, you'll learn something from them and you can see what I'm thinking in the actual process. So I'm first looking at pound USD. Obviously, we're coming off a reset, as you can see on the 150-minute chart. We've pretty much already reached the ADR range for a full cycle. So I'm expecting a peak formation high to form. Now, remember a couple past videos ago, I told you guys that if you're going to take trades against the trend, the best possible way to do it is when you've already gotten to a full cycle and you're expecting essentially a peak formation high to form. So that's the mindset going into this particular pair right here that you can see. And so from there, essentially we're just literally looking to see what ends up happening. What am I looking at? If I'm going to trade this as essentially a sell, right? The only option that I would have right now based on where price action is essentially looking for a type 3 sell. Now the question or the problem that I would have here is the fact that you can see the big candle here that's starting to essentially form on this particular pair. Now this would be great for a railroad track, but obviously you can see once it starts to form, it's pretty massive candle, so can't really use it as a railroad track. So what I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to obviously first wait to see how big this candle actually is, and then go from there. See whether it actually, let's say, closes below the 13, or if it doesn't, whatever the case may be. So regardless, I'm gonna have to wait the 5 minutes here for this thing to essentially be done and over with, and then once this actual candle is over, then I can make a better kind of estimation of, do I even want to go into a possible setup here? So as this particular candle goes off and finishes here, obviously the candle itself is pretty big, pretty massive, and so for me, when I'm thinking about here on this pair is, now that the candle is over, the only possible way that I could even try to get into this pair would be on a massive pullback, and I mean the pullback has to be massive. So the only way I can think of getting into a trade like this, honestly, would be to get into a limit order. So I'm gonna go ahead, and once this candle is over, I'm going to go ahead and see how much room do we have left for a possible limit order. You can see here that I'm already measuring out, if this candle ends up being like this big here, with about 2 minutes left, how the trade setup might look like. And most importantly, where I would want my entry to be, because this is only probably going to happen on a limit order. So kind of measuring out, see what that trade setup would look like, and then I'll go ahead and put a limit order on and see what happens. This is obviously still has like a minute left open on this candle, but I'm just anticipating to see whether or not this is even possible. Again, this is a limit order, so I could take this off if I don't like the next candle or anything like that, but the point is that's what I'm thinking about on this particular trade setup. If I'm going to take it, and if I'm going to take a risk on this, then it's going to have to be on a limit order basis because of how big that particular candle is. So while I'm waiting for pound USD, I went ahead and started to take a look at AUD USD, and you can see here very similar scenario. This one we actually are coming off a peak formation high, so we are definitely looking for sells. And based off what you can see here, essentially looks like a railroad track here. This is probably going to be a pretty decent trade here to take on this pair. So I'm already ready here to take an entry on this as soon as this candle is over with. See maybe for the first couple of seconds if there's any kind of a pullback. If not, then just get into the actual trade and just, you know, get into it. You can see here no kind of real hesitation of a pullback at all. So let's just get into the trade. So at this point here, we're just setting up the stop loss, obviously right above the railroad track, and then essentially again we're just going 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio on this particular pair. Now throughout this process, I don't want you guys to look at or worry about the lot size or any of that stuff. None of that actually matters. What's really important here is the actual process of taking the actual trade. All right, the lot size could be whatever it is that you want it to be. It could be 20 lots, 30 lots. The lot size honestly doesn't matter. What matters is me showing you the process. Okay, because at the end of the day, the process is what gets you into good actual trades. All right, so into AUD USD right now on a sell for type 3, and then you can see now kind of split the screens now for pound USD and AUD USD, and essentially you can see pound USD is heavily moving pretty fast. So I actually don't think that I'm going to be able to get into obviously this particular trade, because I mean it's kind of already, to me it's almost over with already, you know. So as we're going through AUDUSD, I decided let's go ahead and check out one more of the pair that I had checked before, which was I believe USDCAD. And so if we check out USDCAD, you can essentially see here that I'm looking for buys coming off a peak formation low. So this one here sets up to be a pretty decent type 3. It's not the perfect scenario in the sense that it didn't go all the way to the middle, but it did give me a railroad track, and it's right at the pullback. So I actually had to get into this pretty quickly right away, because this would probably be the only opportunity I would get to actually get into this trade on a decent entry. If I would have waited any longer, the entry itself would not have been possible here. So we got into a type 3 on USDCAD, and then again, same thing, 2-to-1 risk to reward ratio, and that's essentially it. So we have USDCAD type 3 coming off, bouncing off a railroad track and almost the middle of the range, 50 EMA. There. So we have USDCAD and AUD USD right now on the trades. And so we split these up into the screen here so you guys can see both trades going at the same time. And so obviously when you're at this point, I mean, you're just doing nothing. You're just waiting, right? I mean, for me at this point, honestly, I'm literally like, I'm not paying attention to the screen. I'm actually spending time with my family while this stuff is going on. And that way I don't have to babysit it. I know what my risk is. So if I get taken out, I get taken out, not a big deal. But yeah, essentially it's just a game of waiting at that particular point. Okay. Now the interesting part about all this is that, so I let this go and I start, spending time with my family, and then I hear the bell go off on TradingView, and I'm like, well, did I get taken out or something? So I come in to check, and I actually get triggered into pound USD. So that limit order actually got triggered on my entry there. So now, essentially, now we're dealing with 3 trades. So now we got USD CAD, pound USD, and AUDUSD. So 3 trades going all at once. And essentially from there, as long as I have my stop losses in place and all that good stuff, like, it's chill mode, and you just got to let these things play out how they're going to play out. Okay. As you get into profit here, I'll talk about how I managed all of the actual trades here. But we're going to let this run here, and, just so you guys can see the whole trade as it happens. And once I start to make adjustments, then I'll tell you why I'm making the adjustments. All right, so now we switched over to the bigger screen, so you can see it way better on this bigger screen. But you can see that we're putting out our 2-to-1 risk to reward ratios on the pairs, so we know exactly where we need to put the take profits. Really, that's what I care most about right now. So I'm doing that on all 3 pairs, so I can gauge, okay, where exactly do I need to go for this 2-to-1 to be hit, because I'm pretty sure I'm pretty close to 2-to-1 on almost all of them here, and then I can start to make adjustments on them. So what I want to do here is I want to turn on the 5 EMA, because I'm going to actually use that on these trades to help me try to stay in the trades as long as possible if they go beyond 2 times ADR or whatnots. So realistically here on pound USD, you can see where price action is right now. It's damn near at 2-to-1, and I should have moved the take profit, but didn't do that. I instead just moved the stop loss to right below break even, so no matter what, it's now not a losing trade. And so I did that pretty much to all 3 of them. So now we're basically risk-free trades on all 3, no matter what. Now essentially I'm going to go ahead and use the 5 EMA on these pairs, so we could try to maximize as much out of it as possible. So you can see here on AUDUSD, price action is right at 2-to-1 ADR, and so I just decided to go ahead and close out the trade, take 2-to-1 exactly, and then be done with that particular trade. So that's basically 1 trade done, 1 pair less I have to worry about. And so now the focus is going to be on pound USD, USDCAD obviously, and then now it's just try to keep moving the stop loss to follow the 5 EMA. And as long as I keep doing that, I could try to ride out as much of it as I can as possible. I'm not moving pound USD obviously because it's retracing pretty hard right now. But I am moving with USDCAD on the movement of the stop loss or whatnots. And again, it's just trying to get as much out of it as possible at the moment here. And so as this is essentially playing out, I start to move my stop loss from on pound USD a little bit lower, right above that the last blue bar there. And I think eventually it ends up taking me out, I believe. Yeah, so I get taken out on pound USD again in profit, so it's fine, not a big deal. And then obviously the last one, USDCAD, I just keep moving the stop loss, and I just keep following the 5 until essentially it pulls back and it takes me out. And that's it. Those are 3 trades that I took today. I know 2 of them weren't pairs that we are watching, but I think if anything, it's just a learning lesson for you. And so I hope that watching this as it's playing out, you can understand what I'm thinking and my thoughts as as these trades are playing out. So hopefully this brought you some value. If you want to see me do this more often for the rest of the year or whatnot, and I'm trying to see if I could find setups on the pairs that we are actually following. So gold, NAS 100, pound JPY. But if I don't see any pairs on those, I'll still trade any decent setups or whatnot that I see, and I'll bring those to you. Again, do me a favor, just subscribe, and leave me a comment below. Did you guys take any of these actual trade setups? And again, hopefully this brought you some value, and you can just get a quick insight, man, as to what I'm thinking about when I'm taking these trades, and why I do what I do. So with that being said, man, thank you so much for watching this video, guys, and we'll see you in the next one.